All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to our platform. I am Drew from Option 4 Podcast. I'm always joined by the second half of the show. GQ Nestor, how you doing today?
What it do? I'm pretty good.
You're pretty good?
Yeah.
Hey, I noticed you're looking a little different right now.
You know?
You're doing a little stash
You
thing
know?
right there.
I had to do the Tapatio.
It's the lady killer.
I try.
You try?
I try.
So, and ladies and gentlemen, we have a very, very special guest today. I would say she up next. Someone that you need to be on the lookout for. All right, coming from all the way from humble beginnings in Dallas, Houston, Texas, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
all right, Houston
Texas.
to Dallas. Now we in LA representing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our show, our platform. Miss Trace, how you doing today?
Hi guys, I'm here. What's up? Thank you for having me.
Did you have breakfast already?
Yeah. Can I tell you a little funny story about that?
Yeah, let's go.
So my favorite thing, and it's gonna sound so weird, is oatmeal. I love oatmeal.
How do you make it?
Okay, so again, don't judge me. I do the instant packets, but I love the peaches and cream. That's like hands down my favorite. I would eat that every single day for the rest of my life. I don't care. And lately, it's been out of stock at all the grocery stores. And I've been really upset because they have the variety pack, but it only has 2 of them in the variety pack. So I'm like, I'm not going to keep buying the variety packs just to get one serving. So I went on Amazon and I bought a big box. It has like 68 packs of oatmeal. And it delivered.
She went bulk.
No, I went bulk. I went Costco. I went straight Costco style. And I'm so excited because now I just have a plethora of oatmeal and
stacked.
I'm good. So yeah, I had oatmeal for breakfast.
Okay, all right. Well, do you add anything to that?
No. So I used to, when I was younger, I used to like do all the sugar and all the extra stuff, but it already has so much sugar in it, and my mom kind of helped me like wean off of that because I kind of did realize there was already so much stuff in it. So I literally just do a little bit of butter, a little bit of creamer, and like that's it.
Okay. And I don't want to mess up your last name though. How do you pronounce your last name?
Winningham.
Winningham.
Yeah.
All right. So
always winning.
Trace Winningham started in Texas. Now you're in
Cowboy
LA,
fan.
Right? You can leave that out.
No. We gotta let that.
I'm a Cowboy fan. I'm a football fan in general, but yes.
Okay. So how do we arrive here today? Tell the listeners and the viewers a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I started out in Houston, Texas. I went to junior high school, all that there. I went to Dawson High School. I started modeling when I want to say, my sophomore year of high school. It was with a hair company. They had reached out and they're like, oh, you're a cute girl. Like, you should come do like a shoot with us. And I was like, oh, okay. Before this, I was a diehard athlete. My family is really big on athletics. I have 3 brothers. We did football, track, basketball, everything you could think of, wrestling, everything. So before my sophomore year, like I was just all about sports. I literally thought I was going to be a professional cheerleader at one point.
Okay.
I love cheerleading as well. And I had got injured going into like the second semester of my sophomore year. And my mom was like, hey, you may have to think about something else you want to do if sports don't work out. Like if you can't go to college for sports, you may have to figure something else out. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Oh gosh, I haven't thought about this. Like I only had one vision in my head. And the hair company reached out to me and I was like, it's my first time kind of modeling. I was like, okay, like I'll take some pictures. Like I like taking pictures, selfies, this is easy. So I went to set and it was actually a really, really awesome experience. And I remember going home and I was like, hey mom, like, I really love doing this. Like I think modeling could be something that could be my next thing. And she was like, oh, okay, well, like I don't know anything about modeling. My mom is military background.
What branch?
Very Army.
Okay.
Army Reserves, yes. So, she knows nothing about that at all. So she had enrolled me in modeling classes at Mayo Hill, back when modeling classes were like a thing. And I remember I went through that and I enjoyed myself so much. I got my little certificate and I was like, okay, I'm a model now. But then the hair company kept reaching back out. And I remember I did a campaign for them and it went bananas. Like I was on ads all across the United States of America. I had people like sending me pictures from like Arkansas of like my picture. I think they had like, Texas Relays. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
No, I heard.
But they have like different banners and things, and my face was on there. I was on like storefronts and different things, and I was just like, oh shit,
Yeah,
like, all right, cool, like, it's up, like, cool. But literally ever since that day, like, photographers would start reaching out, different brands would reach out, and I was just like, oh, okay, like, this is cool. So really my senior year in high school was when I really kind of was like, okay, I'm putting down my athletic, I'm retiring from that, and I'm really about to go crazy with this. And so I had like a really, really good year, and then I had moved to the Dallas area for college. I went to University of North Texas, and when I was in school, I didn't do too much modeling. Like there was little things like on campus that they had, like you know, have like designer workshops for like upcoming designers, and they would always ask me to like model their things, or like fashion shows that were local to the campus. So I kept doing things like that, kind of kept building up. And then I started doing a lot of networking in Dallas, and the hair company originally that I worked with in Houston had a location in Dallas. They had just opened a location in Dallas. So they're like, oh, you're an OG, let's go. Like, let's go, let's do this. And then I continued to work with them, and then it kind of just was like bliss from there. I just kept getting asked to do different things. A lot of different brands kept reaching out. And then, let's say I graduated college, and then I stayed in Dallas for 2 years. I did the corporate thing. I was with a fashion merchandising company. Okay. They literally did the start to finish for all of like a lot of major brands. So like Forever 21 and PacSun, like I was there from A to Z, talking to buyers, talking to China, getting things printed out, getting things in the store. And it was a really cool experience. And I have like a lot of background and experience in like business and merchandising from school. They had hired me right out of my internship. So I was in Dallas. I did the 2 years, and then I was just kind of like, this 9-to-5 life ain't for me. I was like, this is not it. I was like, I don't want to do this. And then like at that time, like I was still like networking a lot. Like I know a lot of people like in the music industry. I know a lot of people in like the modeling industry, the fashion industry. And I was just always kind of going out. Like my nightlife kind of went up. I was started popping a little bit, and my following was growing a lot. And so I don't know, it just kind of went up from there. And then once I was like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore, I quit my job. And I was like, Mom, I want to move to LA. I was like, I've been wanting to do this since high school. In high school, I had a lot of very fortunate friends that were able to move to LA right out of high school. Like they, you know, money was good for them, and they were just able to go straight. They didn't go to college, they didn't do that. And that just wasn't my journey at the time. You know, like that was just not an option for me. So I definitely did like the 4-year school. I did the 2-year corporate. I kind of did things by the book. But I was just kind of like, all right, it's time to go. I gotta do something. I make some shake. Fortunately, you know, I kind of went through a little bit of a rough patch. You know, I had a really good friends, and I was like, look, I'm selling everything I own. I literally sold everything. I got out of my lease at my apartment, and one of my really close friends, Sherilyn, she let me live with her for about 6 months in her apartment. She had like a den, like no door, like just a den. And it was me and my dog, and I set up my mattress in there, and I was literally just grinding for 6 months, saved all my money, didn't have shit. I was just like, okay, I had me, my car, my dog, and I was like, I'm about to save my money because this is what I'm about to do, about to move. So after that 6-month time period was up, another friend of mine, Dominique, she had already moved to LA a year before I did. And I went to college with her, and she had gotten a really good job as a stylist with Nordstrom. And I was like, hey girl, like,
what up?
What's up? Like, you know, I know you're doing that thing out there, like, you know, how's that going? Like, you know, is there, you know, what we got going on? And she was like, oh, like, I love it. You know, I think you'd actually be great for this. Like, again, we went to college together, so we've been in that fashion space together for a while. So she was very familiar with me and everything like that. And she, you know, did me the biggest favor of my life, and I will always give her that gratitude and those flowers. She definitely asked like her manager, like, hey, you know, I have a friend, do you mind like interviewing her? And so I did like a virtual interview from Texas, and they were like, you know, we're interested in you, but we definitely would need you to come like into the office and like have an actual interview. And at the time, again, I'm like, I ain't got bread like that to just be like flying, just to fly out here for an interview. But luckily, I don't exactly remember what the event was, but there was something that actually required me to be in LA at around the same time they wanted to interview me. And I have to think back, my memory's not the best, but I don't remember what it was. I just remember that like I was already gonna be in LA for something. And I was like, okay, this is the time. So I asked her, I was like, hey, you know, I can't come right this second, but in about a week and a half, 2 weeks, I'm gonna be out there. Can I schedule my interview when I come out there? And they're like, yeah, no problem. Let's do that. So I went out there, had the interview. They hired me on the spot. I was like,
look at God.
Mom, I got the job. I was like, Mom, I got the job. And so my mom's biggest thing was like, well, one, I'm a Taurus, and like we're really big on security. Like I'm not a risk taker. I'm gonna be honest, like I'm not a risk taker. I'm not like a wing it person. Like the biggest risk was like quitting my job and staying with my friend for 6 months. And even then, like, again, I prayed every day of my life to God. I was like, please let this be like what I'm supposed to do. And so my biggest thing was like financial security. I know that a lot of people move to LA and they're kind of like, I'm moving here with a dream and and I'm like, that's not good enough for me. I need to make sure that I have food on the table and I'm eating. And again, I have my dog, so like I need to be able to take care of him. And so once I got the job, I was like, well, that's a done deal. Like that's all I've been needing to make this move. And so I remember, again, because it was such a quick thing, I didn't have like $10,000 in the bank saved up or nothing like that. Like I literally had, I want to say like 5K. My stepdad and my mom, we like got a U-Haul, put all my shit in the U-Haul, and we like drove from Texas to LA. And that was like my start. And I had to do like a sublease the first 6 months. It was the worst 6 months of my life living in LA.
But how was that though? So you packed up the U-Haul, you know what I'm saying? You got a little nest egg. Yeah. But you're here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How did that, what was that? And when did like that reality, like that set in? Like, dang, dude, like I know I wanted to do this. I know this is a place that I wanted to be, but dang, now I'm here. Now your parents are driving back to Texas and now you're here solo. How was that? What did that feel like?
Okay, so another small little story. So as soon as I got here, originally I was supposed to be, I was going to move into an apartment with another model that a photographer friend of mine at the time was going to link me with. They're like, oh, I have a model friend. She's looking for someone to live with. Y'all can be roommates. Easy on your rent. Cool. I was like, okay, let's do that. So that was my plan when I got here. She had already lived in LA for a few months. So she was kind of doing the backhand work of like finding the apartment, getting the lease and stuff together. And I was just going to tour it and sign it when I got here. So I get here. Mind you, I have all my shit. I'm in the hotel with my parents. And she's like, hey, I don't have my half of the deposit. And I was like, what you mean you don't have your half of the deposit? Like, we're supposed to get our keys today. Like, what do you mean? And she's like, I don't have half of the deposit. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. Like, I can't do this living situation. I freaked out because at that point, I'm like, okay, right now I'm going to be homeless. Like, I have nowhere to stay. I'm going to be in this hotel. And my parents are very, very, very busy. And, like, they literally planned 2 days to be in LA, drop me off, and, like, hit the bricks. So no, literally. So I was just like panicking because I was like, again, at the time I could not afford thousands of dollars of rent, like just right off the top, so I did end up having to find a sublease through Facebook Marketplace is like actually the GOAT for a lot of things that has helped me in LA. So on Facebook they have like groups of people that are like subleasing like their rooms and like their apartments or whatever the case may be. So I had found one near the office of the new job I was going to be working in, and I was able to just like sign with that, and I was able to move in there. But it was ghetto. It was so ghetto. It was disgusting. So yeah, I ended up moving in there, and like it took a hit to my pride because I'm just not used to that. Like in Texas, you can get a full-size 1-bedroom, 2 free parking spots, amenity, full-size washer dryer for less than $1,000. Less than that.
No, that's facts.
So then you're telling me that I'm about to have to pay more than that. I had a room, like one room. I had to share a bathroom. I had 3 roommates, like 2, like one was like an Armenian guy.
Well, what about the girl? What happened to the homie? Oh, we don't even talk to her? Oh, okay, understood.
I mean, like,
Understood.
it wasn't like I didn't just like cut her off or anything like that, but it was just like you really put me in a situation that could have been really detrimental. Like, I was literally homeless because of you. Like,
Control Alt Delete.
you know, like, for real. And so, like,
Well, maybe what she was thinking, because she was resourcing everything and going around for you, that you was gonna pay her for her efforts.
so it was funny because my mom was like, okay, you have two choices. And she's like, I'm gonna keep it 100. My mom will never, like, I'm literally the best mom in the entire world. Like, hands down, that woman is sent from heaven. She was like, look, do you just want me to pay her half of the deposit? You can pay me back when you can, and that way you have a place to move into and you're good. And I was like, no. But I said, because if she can't pay the rent now, I don't want to hear it in 2 to 3 months, and I'm asked out because she can't pay half of the rent. And then 2, like, no, that's just, it's not your responsibility. That's not what we agreed on when we moved out here. They did so much for me, like, as far as like moving me out here with the U-Haul and everything, helping me stay in the hotel. My mom helped me pay for like the hotel for an extra few days while I was still finding the sublease. So I had to like stay an extra few days, which obviously is not cheap either. So no, I was like, nah, you're good. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna do that. It's not meant to be. It's cool. So no, but that definitely was a thought, was like, okay, well, let me just pay her half and then like we're Gucci. But after that, I just kind of was like looking at her like, I just don't feel, you know, like, she's cool. Like, we stayed friends for like a while, like associates more or less, but it just got to the point of like, girl, you not coming this way with me. You trying to keep me this way, and it just didn't work. So no, unfortunately, we're not friends anymore or anything like that. So
Because that was a big risk.
yeah,
And Taurus is,
we don't play that.
yeah.
So I got a question. So how can I put this? So you know nowadays, like I don't want to say it's coming, but it is. But like the end of the world is eventually coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have
Facts.
this theory that you're like, you know what? You better surround yourself with people that have skill sets. You know what I mean? Like, you want to know that you have like this dude is like, you know, he could fix shit, or this gal can like freaking know some accounting. You know what I mean? Like, have your departments ready.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
When the end of the world comes, right?
faculty.
So what would be the main traits that you would surround yourself, like, as far as like friend wise?
Oh wow, that's actually a really good one. So lately, because I've been in LA for 4 years now, and you know, I was very fortunate when I started out here in 2019. I had amazing friends that were already very much established in LA. Whether they had like a big following or they just been here for years, they just know what's up. My biggest thing is that I need people that can motivate me and that are go-getters. So in LA, you're always surrounded by these girls that they're gonna do something strange for a little piece of change, and like that is just that's their
What do you mean?
you know, just a little, something a little strange for a little piece of change, you know. So like, you know, I definitely had my bits and pieces of trying to find people that actually made sense. So when you're talking about skill sets, I would say people that like motivate me, that keep me positive. Because again, being a Taurus, like, I am a very controlling person sometimes, and I like things, like, I will set my day up so well to where like there's no room for error, because I don't want to be in a position to be down bad for any reason. And so, but that's just how I operate. A lot of people are very like, go with the flow, oh, it's whatever. Like, no, I'm not that person. And so I just think like right now, my group of friends, I'm just so blessed and thankful for them, because one, I have one friend, her name's Bianca. She does so much. She's like an event planner. She has her own business. She works for IBM. She, like, she's doing so much in her career, and like, she's always on it. Like, she's on meetings from 6 a.m. to like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And like, I tell her every day, I'm like, yeah, you a boss. Like, I need like, and she be on my shit. She's like, okay, what's going on with Trace the Brand? What's going on with your content? What's going on with this? And like, I am so thankful for her, because she helps keep me on track. And I think that's a really big deal, because I feel like there's a lot of girls that just want to go out and party. There's a lot of girls that just want to sleep in till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And like, that's not going to get you anywhere, especially out here. So my biggest thing is just people that are go-getters, people that, you know, aren't lazy. And I'm be honest, like, I don't hang around like thoughts. I don't hang around people that's like, oh, Drake is over there, I'm about to go. Like, no, like, cool, hey Drake, what's up? Like, appreciate you, let's go eat one time or something. Like, appreciate it, awesome. But I'm not like, that's my focus is just so different because I don't want to be a cliche. And so like I just have, as long as I have people around me that are about their business, that are doing something in life or want to do something in life, like that's my minimum criteria, to be honest. Like, let's just get this bag.
Okay, so now that you out here in this like very superficial town, in your opinion, would you say like the modeling industry when it comes to image is harder on males or females?
Females, duh.
You think so?
Yeah, I feel like guys, like, y'all have it so easy. Like, in a way. Like, granted, you can't just get in the club for free because of your looks necessarily. So, like, I get it. But I think that, like, one, colorism is a big thing. So you have to deal with colorism as a female. You have to deal with, you know, height, weight, like, what you look like. Because it is such a superficial world. And, like, unfortunately, I don't know if you guys saw, a few months ago, there was like a big thing on social media about a very popular club here in LA that basically denied access to like a heavy set girl, and they didn't even know.
You laugh.
Like, but they didn't even know like
it was
she
Lizzo?
was. No, that's actually insane if they denied Lizzo. But like, no, but she was really like a very established poppin' person. Like, she almost had like almost 1 million followers. Like, she was
a little Biggie Smalls.
Just kidding.
First of all,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, but she was actually a really beautiful girl, but she was like more heavy set, and like she got denied entrance, and like I just thought that was just so insane because like it's this, and they don't care about, like, she could have been freaking the president's daughter, right. And well, obviously she didn't have no security or nothing like that, right. But like she could have been someone that like was way more important than this little thotty that looked better than she did. And like that is a reality with women. It's like there's so little room for error. Like, you have to be perfect. Like, your makeup has to be perfect, your clothes have to be perfect, like you can't look cheap, your colorism, like if you're too dark or if you're too light, you know, like, there's so many variables that go into it. So that's why I say like women have it more difficult, because I feel like for guys, like even the way y'all's dressed, like y'all can go to a club in like sweats and a hoodie, and as long as you got like a little bit of money, you're straight. Like, I get on my friends so much, and I always laugh because like my homies will pull up and they just have like, you know, just some chill shit on, like real chill, nothing flashy, nothing crazy, and like they're good and they're comfortable and they have such a good time. And I'm like, dang, like I wish it was that easy for females.
You can do that. You just probably won't get in. I mean, you
exactly. So like that's like it. That is part that kind of does like a little bit, but
I think, like, do you think it has a lot to do with the social media pressure?
100%, 1000%. It's social media. I mean, at the end of the day, people are running businesses, and I get that. And like, unfortunately, for some people, they don't understand business. And because I've been in this industry for a very long time, like I've been modeling for over 10 years at this point, like I know this industry front and back. Entertainment industry, music industry, modeling industry, fashion industry. I know all that shit front and back. And so it's business. And so they can't, unfortunately, as much as everyone wants to be like, oh, everybody get in, everyone have shots. They just can't do that. And like social media, like, you know, everyone's not gonna want to come to the club if they see like certain types of people there, you know. Like, be honest, when you go out and you're picking where you want to go for the night, you're probably like, okay, what type of people, what type of music, what's the environment, is it classy, is it ratchet? Like, those are variables that everyone thinks about, and that's just the point blank of it. Like, you kind of have to fit the mold of whatever you're trying to do.
It kind of ties into my next question. When we spoke, you was like real big on being confident in your own skin. And how that relates to your goal of having your own modeling agency, right? Tell us about that.
Okay.
What's your dream? What's your goals? Let's go.
So some of my goals, I'll do some. I definitely want to have my own modeling agency. I want to say more of a model development per se, where basically I'm doing like the grooming. So from start to finish, like I really did appreciate the classes that I went to when I was younger, like just the simple things of just walking in heels, walking on a runway, knowing how to have your makeup when you go for a go-see or go for an interview with an agency. Like those little details a lot of girls don't know about. Like they don't know like about proper interview etiquette, certain things like that. And those are very like important points when you're trying to like start your career. But then also like a little bit of back history. I come from a single parent household. My mom held it down for me and my brothers like all our lives. But unfortunately with that, like she was deployed for years at a time, and I had to live with family members. I moved a lot, and she wasn't able to be there all the time as I was developing as a young woman. And so there was little things like I said, walking in heels or like makeup that like she wasn't able to like do for me or like teach me how to do. And it kind of put in perspective that like even though I'm so fortunate to have such an amazing support system, there's a lot of girls out there that don't. Like there's some people that don't have moms or don't even have people that care to like groom you in that sense to where you're set up in those positions. And so with that, people say, oh, you're a product of your environment. But like I hate that term, because no, you're not. Like you can be so much more, but you have to have the confidence to want to do so much more. And you have to be able, like you have to want to feel like you can. Like some people are like, oh, I'm from the hood. I didn't have a mom. I can't. No, sweetheart, you can. Like you can. You actually can. And so like one of my biggest goals in life is just like the empowering and giving those girls that feel like they don't have the resources or they're not in the position or they don't have the background or the money or whatever you want to insert there that they don't feel like they have. Like my biggest goal is just to be like, yo, it doesn't matter. Because like I said, like granted, I give everything in my life, all my success to God, but like there's like I've had to go through it. Like it wasn't just easy. I didn't have to just like wake up one day and oh, I have followers, oh, I'm a model, oh, like it took a minute. Like I had a journey. And so my biggest thing is like if I can give back and give like my expertise and my experiences to empower other girls, like that's my biggest goal. So like with my agency, it's just about giving those girls, especially like minorities, like the opportunity to be in a space where you don't feel like, oh, I have to look like Kylie Jenner, or oh, I have to have 1 million followers to be successful. Like no, you don't. So that's one of my biggest things, confidence.
Now, as a model, right? Like, have you ever, I don't even know if this is even a fair question because like you said, it's a business, right? And I'm not being disrespectful anyway. But like, have you ever felt like you were being objectified, but like in the same sense you are an object because I need you to model?
Oh, yeah. And that's, I guess, funny. So I was just telling my friend Z about this the other day, that like between objectification and lust, like you're a model, especially if for me, I'm more of a petite, slim, athletic build. So swimsuits is something that is my first love in modeling is swimwear. But obviously when I am like 18, 19 years old and I'm doing a photo shoot with a photographer that it's a male and he's like 35, 40 and I'm wearing a swimsuit and he's like, hey, you should turn around and, toot your butt up a little bit. Like you're kind of like, are you telling me this because the image is good and it's going to sell the product, or are you telling me this because you have your own vendetta in your head? And so I've definitely been in a lot of really uncomfortable situations with that. But also it's kind of just about like who you are and like what you stand on as a woman, because there's a lot of models that are okay with that, or like they're oblivious to those signs. But I definitely, especially if I do shoot with like male photographers, I'm very business. Like I need a changing room. I need to have people that are on set that, if there are other women, like I'm very, very particular about that, especially now that I have gotten older and have had a lot of different experiences. But being objectified, I mean, that's just a part of it. Like, to be honest, like you're modeling a product. You're literally paid for people to look at you. So it's like there's no getting around it. But there are definitely like borders of like what's acceptable, what's not. So my biggest thing is just like, as long as you have respect for me, like I'm cool. I don't really get offended by being objectified because I know that's my job in a way.
So eventually, obviously you're going to have your business going and everything, but what is, in your opinion, what is the age brackets that you have your success as far as the prime time for a woman in the modeling industry?
So that is actually, it's a very interesting concept, because when I was younger, when I was first starting out modeling, I started modeling at like 14. That was like when I did my first class, and I was doing like my little photo shoots. I was always told that you have until like you're 23. If you haven't been signed by an agency, if you're not already popping by 23, like, it's dead. It's dead.
Just die.
It's
Lost
dead.
that train.
Like, that's it. So, but fortunately, like, I was able to kind of I got signed to a modeling agency in Texas, in Dallas. So I didn't necessarily have that scare of like, oh my God. But I will say, like, even now, like, I'm okay with saying it. I'm 28 years old. I just turned 28 in May.
You go, girl.
You got that good lotion though. I would never imagine.
Like, give it to my genes, my grandfather.
Why don't you say what you normally say?
What
does he normally say?
You normally say you got cocoa butter. It's the cocoa butter.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, for sure.
Cocoa butter.
Absolutely. I be doing that to myself. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I ain't gonna lie.
No, period. Like, your diets and how you take care of your skin, like, and of course, black don't crack, but it's whatever. But like, now that I am 28, like, technically I'm hitting the top where it's like, hey, if you're not already in ads in Milan and things, like, technically you can start getting counted out. And that has been an internal struggle that I've kind of dealt with a little bit over the last few years. Like, I am currently signed in LA. I've been signed in Texas. I've done a lot of really good things. I feel like I've had a really good career thus far. But also, I don't think I'm finished. I don't see an end. I don't see an end for me. I really don't. Like, I don't.
Well, as long as you maintain your
right. And I think as long as I keep it together, keep it cute, keep it tight. Like, I think I have at least a few more years left in me. But as far as just like hitting like your peak and your prime and things like that, I honestly don't feel like I've had either one. Like, I feel like I've been pretty just consistent, progressive, like, since day one. Like, I feel like every job has been better than the other. Every situation has been better. I moved to LA. Now I'm signed with the agency. Then I did my first reality TV show last year. Like, I'm continuously still like growing and building. So I don't like peak and prime. I think it's just such a, what is that word, like, incapacitating like concept. Like, people can really feel like enclosed with that concept, and I don't really feel like there's like a such thing as like a peak and prime for like myself particularly. I'm just like, as long as I'm grinding and I'm getting what I need to do, like, I'm gonna still be hot when I'm 35, and I can still be on an ad at 35 because I know I'm gonna look good. But at the same time, I will say it's probably easier when you are younger to accomplish certain success and growth.
I mean, you just hit a different bracket, right? When you hit 30, you're going to be at like Ann Taylor or what is it? Eventually.
Did you just say Ann Taylor?
No,
that's a stretch. Ann Taylor is like, Ann Taylor is like probably like 40s, like 45.
So it's a little bit. So I'm 10 years ahead, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, don't do the Ann Taylor for me, please.
I'm wondering how you even know that.
I'm actually shook that you know Ann Taylor. That's actually kind of funny.
Hey, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? There's levels, like, there's levels to this shit. So I just think, hey.
But also, you have to think about it, like, even with like movies and things like that, they're always gonna need an old guy to play a role. They're always gonna need a mom. Like, they're always gonna need a mom on an ad. Like, they're always, so I still, again, to that point, is like, I still think you can have an amazing, successful, peaked career even after you're 21, or even after 25. Like, there's so many girls that I've seen now that are my age that are booking such amazing jobs, and I'm just like, you go, girl.
But what about the mental factor and the physical factor, right? Like, there's going to be some days that you might not have the same patience to wake up every day and put the grind in, because I'm pretty sure it requires a lot of grind, and then not to mention the physical aspect. Like, I know I was cool till I hit 30. Now I roll out of bed before I jumped out of bed. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like something that I wasn't expecting that. Yeah. Like, in my head, I'm like, shit, I'm still young. But, like, you know what I mean? You get to a point where shit just got real. So,
no, I feel you.
So what do you think in that regards, especially for a woman? Because you guys go through different types of things every month. And, it's just, you got, like, 15 personalities to deal with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean that's a good point too. But again, I still feel like that's the same answer. It's just like it just depends on where you're at. Like I agree with you. That whole roll out of bed thing that hit me because I feel that I be feeling that. Like I'm telling you, ask all my friends. I'm like, yo, like I'm trying to get out the bed. Like that's what's going on right now. But I think especially like now in this age of like social media influencing and the fact that like your money is based off of if you get out the bed, you know. So I do think that that's a really big motivator. It's just kind of like what you have going on and what you're trying to do. Granted, a lot of people have very passive careers or things that like only take part like in the evening time, so they don't have to worry about that. But I feel like for me, especially now that I've been in like my content creator bag and like in my social media influencer bag, like I've learned over this last year I have to get up, put on some makeup, style these outfits, figure out how I'm gonna do this content, and like do it. But that was different for me because at the first thing, I'm a model at first. Like I get paid to do photo shoots. They say, hey, your call time is this time, show up. Like that's my job. So now that I've been kind of transitioning more into like the social media thing and just kind of like just taking it in for what it is, like that has been difficult for me because like I'm not used to having to like, oh, I have to do my makeup, I have to plan the content, I have to do this. And if I don't, then like I'm missing out on thousands of dollars for a simple Instagram post. Like simple. And so I do think that like as I've gotten older, my drive for certain things like that has gone down a little bit because I'm just like I'm a grown ass woman. Like I don't like you know like I'm not and like I am like a tomboy at heart too, and like so the whole getting up like I know cute whatever, but like I'm not like if I don't have to wear makeup, I don't wear makeup. Like people that are with me around me more often than less, like they know Trace is such a chill person. Like I wear sweats, I don't wear makeup, I'm chill. Like I watch SpongeBob in the morning, I be chilling. Like I'm good, like as is. And so like I think it just really depends on just like what you have going on, and like if social media was like my only source of income, that's different. But I have multiple streams of income at this point, so it's just like I don't put weight on things that I don't feel like I have to put weight on, which could be good or bad. I don't know if I answered your question, but I think it did.
No.
So I mean, is it easy to say that you're happy?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? Okay. So if you're happy, right?
Right.
There's a thing that I was reading the other day about that you want to surround yourself with people that are happy, right? And usually one of the key things to find out like how they're happy, right, is to find out what their favorite type of read is. So what is one book that you would recommend that you read?
So I'm actually currently reading this book. I don't know the author off the top of my head. I have to look on my little list, but it's called Get Out of Your Head. And that is it's like it was actually suggested by another influencer that I follow on Instagram, and it is so good. And it's a motivational book about obviously like your psychological, like getting out of your head and overthinking things and like pulling yourself down, things like that. But it also does have like a religious like aspect to it as well, just kind of like relating it back to God and just knowing that like you can get through things and just like having your faith. And that's really, really big for me as well. So that's one of my really like the books that I'm currently reading, and I do think is like very impactful for like what I'm currently going through in life. But just to kind of like go back to your original question, like, am I happy? I feel like I have a lot of happy days, but I'm still human, you know. We still I live in LA. Come on now. Like how like you can be happy, but like there's bad days. So I don't want to just be like, yeah, I'm happy, because like that's not real. Like I'm happy. Like I'm very blessed, but there's always times where, especially like when you are someone that's been like competitive your whole life, and your life is very you're expected to do well. Like shit, my last name's Winningham. Like, do you think that's my last name and I can just be sitting in a corner twiddling my thumbs every day? Like, no. So like there's different struggles. Like there's a lot of times where I'm like, yo, I may be okay with this little 9-to-5 life and just kind of be chilling. Like I don't have to wear makeup if I don't want to. I don't have to get up and go to events if I don't want to. And like that has been a struggle, especially like as I've gotten older. It's just deciding like what I want to give my energy to, and like me giving my energy to that, does it actually make me happy, or am I just doing it because I'm supposed to do it?
So what's the missing piece that in your, well, not the missing piece, let me rephrase that. The I want to say the missing ingredient that you feel like, if I was at this point in my life, I think this would make me happy.
I don't, a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on money, and I'm gonna be honest, like, I do think that's a big aspect. I think, like, financial security is one thing that I'm just kind of like, it's one thing when you have to get up and grind, but then it's one thing when, like, you want to get up and grind. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I think differentiates the happiness part for me. Like, I'm good, I'm in my bag, I've had so many opportunities, I do so much, you know, but until I can wake up and be like, hey, yo, if I sit in this bed today, my shit's still going up. Like, my bank account's still flourishing. And I think once I get to that point, like, whether, and like I said, me having my agency, I want to start my own swimwear line, and the next year I want to do a lot of different entrepreneurial things. And my biggest thing is I want to reach passive income. Like, I want to get to the point where, like, I'm making money in my sleep. Right. And so, like, once I get to that point, I think I can truly, at that point, say that I'll be happy, because I don't want to have to stress. I don't want to have to, like, obviously, like, budgeting, being an adult, like, fine, you have to budget. But, like, I don't want to have to budget, you know? Like, when I get past those things, I think I can truly be happy. And I'm not saying, like, oh, I have to have a certain amount in my account to be happy, because I don't want to confuse the two, because I'm not relating happiness to how much money you have. But I also think that there's an aspect of, like I said, if I don't do shit today, like, am I able to eat tomorrow? Like, type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the part that's like,
having fuck you money. Like they say, go to work. No, fuck you.
Fuck
you. Know?
You. No, for real. Like, I want to be able to, like, you know, if I want to, like, dip out and go on a trip for a week, like, I'm not even thinking twice, because it's like, I'm good, you know? And, like, again, I'm getting there. I've had so many accomplishments even over the last year. So, like, I'm getting there. Like, but because of being a tourist, being financially secure, being very, like, I need to know what I got going on at all times. Like, that little bit of anxiety still kind of keeps me weary of that, like, 100% happy word.
Have you put I'm sorry.
No, so you said tourist, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No,
so have you put a timeline on, like where you say, you know what, I'm cool with the influencer stuff, I'm cool with the modeling stuff. Like, by this time, I want to have that passive income, or I get to pick and choose. Like, yo, I'll go do this job just because I think it'd be cool, and not because I need the money.
So it's interesting that you say that, because honestly, again, I say this past year has just been the biggest eye-opening, like, post-COVID, and just trying to see, all right, are we getting back into the speed of things? And, like, some stuff hasn't picked back up and some stuff has. But this whole, like, social media thing, I've had a following of at least 10K since at least 2016. But it wasn't until this past 2-ish years that I really was like, hey, I'm gonna, like, really care about, like, posting consistently and doing things. So I kind of, to be honest, I feel like I'm kind of newer into really capitalizing off of Instagram, to be honest, because for the longest, like, my job is a model. Like, I didn't give a fuck about if I'm posting on my page. Like, I was just like, I'm living my life, I'm modeling, I'm getting my bag over here, this is my career, and Instagram and social media is, like, secondary. Like, that was just like, oh, if I do, cool. But now, because I have been blessed with so many opportunities and, like, experiences, like, I really do see the money in it. Like, there's insane money in it. It's crazy. So now I'm like, okay, let me really get in that bag. So I feel like over this last year, I really started honing in more on that. But even with that, I'm gonna be honest, I'm already like, I don't do this shit no more. Like, I was like, 'cause it's a lot of pressure. It's so much pressure. And I think a lot of people think that, oh, she's just taking a cute picture and outfit, like, that's easy. No. And especially, like, as the years go on and technology is becoming even more advanced, these brands do not play. Like, you have to get your pictures approved. You have to be in certain lighting. You have to look a certain way. Like, you will not, like, it's not as easy.
No filter.
Like, yeah, like, they don't want overly, it will depend on the brands that you're working with, but, like, you know, they don't want overly edited shit. Like, it's a lot more to it than, like, hey, I'm cute with my friend, let me just take a quick pic and post it. And that's the part that I'm having a hard time with, because I genuinely, I am so big on like authenticity. And my thing is like, I know who I am. And like I said, me waking up at 8 a.m. and putting on a full face of makeup to go take pictures, that's not me. That's not me. It's not. But I can say, hey, oh, I'm having brunch with my friend later. You know what? It's a sunny day in LA. I want to get cute. Like, cool, bet. I can do that. And like, I can be in that moment and take the pictures and deliver it that way. But I don't see it as like another career for me. I don't want it to be another career for me. I want it to be a hobby, something that's fun that I like to do. So, and to answer your question, it's kind of like, I'm kind of almost ready to hang it up, like, you know, but it sucks because I'm serious. Like, I'm not gonna, like, this year, like, I'm really trying to push as much as I can this year, and maybe like next year too, but unfortunately I say that, but the money's so good. Like, every other day I'm getting more emails for partnerships and stuff, and so it's like, damn, like, I would be screwing myself over to stop. And I think that's the hard part I'm having, is like, do I really feel like doing it, or like, should I just do it because it's a good income, you know? So, you know, I do think there's like a time expiration date for me personally, but I can't say that time because, again, if God wanted me to keep going, and if I keep getting more partnerships and emails and shit, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Why not?
Like, why not? Like, literally, why not?
Now, I know someone, when we do release this episode, may be listening and say, man, I recognize that voice. Or when I say your name, or they hear your name, Trace Winningham. Wasn't she on a show or something? Oh, yeah. Was it? Now, for those who don't know, all right, Temptation Island, yes. I believe that was the reality show. Island. How did that come about? How did this happen? You know, I was doing a little research because I didn't see that season, but I am familiar with the show. So, can we talk about that for a little bit?
Hold on, let me drink some more of a drink.
All right, get a little sweet.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, long story short, the show really came out of nowhere. Like, I've never, in my modeling career, like, I've never said, like, oh, I want to be on reality TV. Don't get me wrong. I am a fan of reality TV. I just think it's entertaining as hell. So, like, I don't mind watching it. But that was not, like, on my bucket list of things to do in my life. I do want to be, like, in a movie. I want to be on Netflix, and I want to do, like, shows. But the reality aspect of it, not really. So I was just on Instagram as normal, and, like, I was getting these DMs. And it was just, like, a casting producer, but they didn't have like any following. It was like 20 followers. It was like a DM was like, oh, you know, we think you'd be interested will you be a good fit for the show? And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I get a lot of BS in my DMs, so I don't really like pay attention to it. Ignored it. A couple days later, another person, but the same layout, like, hey, we think you'd be interested in the show. Is this show? I'm like, ignored it. Then like another week went by, and they kept reaching out, and I'm like, yo, like, let me just check, like, let me just see what this is. Googled it. Oh, this actually is a show. Okay, let me see what you're talking about. So I had a phone call with the casting producer, and literally they're like, yeah, we would love for you to do this. Like, we think you'd be a good fit. And I was like, oh shit, like, okay, like, I ain't never done anything like this. I really don't, like, I've never watched the show prior to this at all. Like, it was not on my watch list, nothing. And then the next day I ended up having an interview with one of the executive producers. And so then they were like, oh, okay, like, we really want you to do this. Let's go through your casting process, and like, let's get you going. And at first, again, like, you can still go through the process, and at the end they can still say like, no, we're gonna pass on you.
Right.
And it got down to like the final days before we were supposed to like leave to go film, because they kind of give you a timeline of like when we want to film and things like that. But I wasn't hearing back, and I was just kind of like, okay, like, y'all reach out to me, like, you know, like, what's up? And then they hit me back, and they're like, yeah, we want to do this. I was like, bet, cool. But I remember whenever I had got there, we had such an amazing team and such an amazing crew. And when I had got there and I had finally first met the other castmates and everything, I was still like very shook on the concept. And honestly, to be honest, being transparent, I didn't think I had a standing chance, because I was the only like dark-skinned Black girl, like the only one. And I was like, okay, and the premise of the show is like, you kind of have to be chosen by these guys. And my thing is like, I have such a less percentage because, one, of my ethnicity, my body type, and like, if I'm not your type, like, that's just what it is. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Like, the show is basically based off of attraction and connection. And so I honestly, even to that day, I got to Hawaii, we were starting to film, and I was like, yo, I may be out like in the next 2 days. So again, it was not all of this whole concept of this show was not planned. It wasn't premeditated. I was like, I'm gonna try it. But even then, to the first day we started filming, I was like, I probably am not gonna be here long. Like, it's whatever. So yeah, there you go. That's how that started.
Now so the premise of the show is about love connections, right?
Yeah.
Was there any type of connection made during that show?
A little one.
Okay.
Little one. So ironically, and I say all that like what I just said about didn't even think I was gonna get picked. So imagine, like, again, I don't want to ruin it for people. I do hope everyone goes and like watches the show. Like, I think it's cool. Like, it's entertaining for sure. But the fact that I actually did get chosen, and not even chosen, the way my journey and my story played out all the way to the end is still like mind blowing to me. I did not expect that at all. And even like I said, I literally went into it thinking like, okay, I'm about to get paid to get drunk and have fun and be on a vacation. And like, that was literally my only thought process, was like, you're here to have fun, turn the fuck up, you're in Hawaii, like, it's lit. Like that's like that was my only thing.
Like, say less.
Like, say less. Like, that was literally my only MO. And so like, literally, and then once I ended up meeting the guy and we actually hit it off, it was a crazy story since then. So like,
what did your mama say
about me going on the show?
Yeah.
Oh, my mom is about my bag though. Like, my mom is my biggest supporter. She's my number
like,
one fan. She's like, because I was nervous because like once I did kind of do a little bit of research, like, they are kind of wild on the show. Like, people have sex on the show. People be making out. People be fighting. Like, there's some things that, like, you know, is against my initial like moral compass of who I am. Like, I'm not that person. And so, you know, I expressed those things to my mom, and my mom was like, look, be true to yourself, go have fun, get your bag, period.
I always told Drew, I'm like, you gotta be batshit crazy to be on these shows. So with that being said, you think you got a little pepper?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah?
For sure.
Okay.
I mean, they didn't cast me because I was boring. You know what I'm saying? They didn't cast me because I was just like, oh, hi. Like, they didn't cast me for that reason. But, like, I definitely
did they do like a questionnaire or something?
Oh, for sure. Like, throughout the
damn.
the I say hiring, but the casting process, they ask you a lot of different things and a lot of different scenarios.
Any
like
weird questions? Yeah.
Yeah, like they'd be like, oh, so if you were talking to a guy and a girl walks up to you and starts rubbing on him, like, what would you do? I say, I'll slap that bitch in her face. The fuck? Like, don't ever disrespect me. No, I mean,
I don't think she bubbled that in.
I mean, but I kept it 100. Like, I'm always gonna keep it 100. And like, again, I am from the South. Like, I'm not the little one at all. So it's like, I have like a very big personality when it comes to like that.
You started clapping and shit?
Oh, for sure. Oh, like, no, for real. Like, for real. And so like, that was like those situations. Like, but it did kind of take me a second. Like, what would I do? Like, especially like if you're on TV, you know, like, so there's kind of a part of it is just like knowing your boundaries and your limits as well, because there's also an aspect of it of like, you're in a situation with strangers, you don't know them, you have no background on them, you don't know what walk of life they're from, they don't know you, and they don't know, like, don't try me in certain situations. Right. So you have Sally Sue coming up to you in the kitchen thinking she could say, I'm like, are you fucking crazy? Like, you don't know me, like, don't talk to me like that, or like, don't disrespect me like that. And so like, those aspects of reality TV and like being in that type of like room and situation was challenging for me, because you do have to fight with like who you are, who your standards are, versus like also you are here for a job and you're here for also for entertainment purposes. And so you kind of have to like play both sides. Like, you're gonna be the boring person, you're gonna get sent home day one and like, cool, who was Trace, like what? Or are you really about to stand on who you are, show your personality, and make a name for yourself?
Did you ever find yourself going like Jerry Springer on anybody in there?
No, I will say that Temptation Island does not condone violence, and they are very
Your face lit up though, so
well, there was a situation again, y'all, because y'all didn't watch the season, but there definitely was a situation. There was one girl that she just kept. Like, so basically the situation was the guy picked me from day one. Like, we came in, we had like the mixer where everyone like they get to see the girls and they're like, oh, hey, who are you? Da-da-da. Guy choosing day one. Hey, I want her. Come talk to me.
As is.
As is. Period. And I was like, oh, okay. Like I was kind of warming up to him. He was cute, caught my eye for sure. But we instantly had a connection from the first day. So a lot of the girls didn't fuck with that. They were like, that's not fair. He's not talking to us. Like, he's not talking to us. You're taking all of his time. That's not fair. And that was the big bubble for the very beginning. And so, but there was like one girl that was like, no, like this is not gonna happen. So she would like do shit that would just be so like disrespectful that I was like, yo, like, I don't even know if I even like this guy like this. Like, did
she talk to you with her finger? She didn't put her finger in.
Oh, no. She wasn't that crazy. She wasn't that crazy.
Okay.
No. But she just would say certain things. Like, she would be like, oh, Trace, you're so cute. Love you. Oh, I can't wait to be friends with you. But then I'd go out the room and she's in the corner like, Dad, that bitch, I don't know why the fuck. I'm like, what? Like, what? You got all that smoke for me? Like, I didn't do anything. And so, but throughout the whole thing was her trying to get his attention. And he's like, yo, I'm not interested. And I'm be honest with you, she does not carry herself like a lady. I don't give a fuck. I've already had my smoke with her during the time the show aired and everything. She is not a lady. She is not classy whatsoever. So, you know, she's showing her ass. Like, she's just doing a lot of things that I'm like, you're not in competition with me. I'm not in competition with you. There's no way. And, you know, we butted heads a lot. And it got to the point where he literally had to be like, hey, I'm interested in Trace. You need to back up. And, like, I'm good. And I made sure that he made sure to have that boundary because I wasn't going to keep going back and forth with this girl. I was not. But there was definitely a couple instances throughout the show where me and her had verbal, like, sparring. And then her and her little friend, like, they would just do little shit. Like, you know, if you're having a conversation with someone and, like, say someone comes into the room, they just sit right there on the chair and they just act like, I'm just here. No, you being nosy. You're being nosy. You're trying to see what we talking about. Like, why are you sitting here? Like, what do you do? And she would send, like, her little friends to do that. Like, anytime I was talking to him or, like, talking to one of my friends about him, like, they would do little things like that. And granted, they're younger than me. They were a lot younger than me. So they were on that type of time, like, a lot of childish things. And, like, that's just not who I am. And, like, again, you think about these shows, everyone's comes from different walks of life. Everyone's from all of the United States of America. So it's not just people that are in industries or have followings or anything like that. There's some people that had 100 followers coming into the show and they're from Timbuktu of Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? So like this was the most action in anything that they've ever had. And that got to a lot of people's heads.
Were you like the oldest?
I was not the oldest, actually. Really? At the time, this was 2022, so this was like last year, but I think I was 26 at the time going into the show. But we had a girl that was like, I think she was like 31.
She was like 30. The godmother, right?
Not even, it's funny because she was like the shortest. But she was like the shortest of everyone, so it's just funny. But she was like, I definitely wasn't the oldest. I think I was like the third oldest. I think there was like 2 more people that were older than me. But
well, that's good, yeah. Right? Like you don't freaking feel like that pressure, right?
I was good. I don't care. I'm very confident. I don't care.
Now, this connection that you made on the show, right? From what I understand, you know, sometimes we fellas, you know, we say things, we use these words, you know, we say these things to this. We look you in your eye, you know, and it's like, you know, right? And you know, and we say these words. Now, with this whole thing, because I don't want to go into detail, I want people to actually research into. But like, did that put a bad taste in him? Was he your first, like, not your first like love or anything like that, but you developed feelings for him, correct?
I did.
And from what I understand, he's developed feelings for you, but he developed feelings for other people as well. So so like, how does that make you feel? Not like in just his situation, but how did that generally, like, what was your takeaway from that whole experience?
Okay, so for me, I'm a lover girl. All my friends will say that. Like, I have been in relationships majority of my life. Like, in college, I didn't even have a real college experience because I literally, the orientation going into freshman year, I had a boyfriend. Like, he already went to school, he was a year older. Like, he scooped me up before I even had a chance. So I never really dated. We were together the whole time I was in college. Post-college, I was in another relationship. Moved in with him right away, then we broke up, whatever. So I've been with someone for a pretty amount of my adult life. But as of like 25, I don't think I've really been like in an exclusive serious relationship or anything like that. So coming onto the show, that's why I'm saying like it was such a far-fetched idea for me to even have a connection with someone. I'm like, okay, like cool, like I date here and there, but I don't really like, I haven't been in a full-blown relationship in a long time. And I like, again, if you watch the show, like I was shook that he had developed feelings so fast. And mind you, again, if you don't know the premise of the show, he came into the show in a relationship. Like, not even just like, oh, I have a girlfriend and we're dating for a year. They've been together for, I think, 6-7 years. Dang. When they came into the show. And so, again, even with that knowledge, I'm like, okay, don't think too much into it. It's not, like, it's whatever. He likes you. A lot of people like you. Like, it's fine. Like, it's cool. But he dropped the L-bomb, like, within a few episodes in. And again, I kid you not, this was not planned, scripted, nothing, because when he said it, everyone dropped to the floor. Producers, camera guys, everybody's like, did he just really say, like, Trace, I love you? Like, hello? Like, you just met me. We've been in this house for how many? Like, don't get me wrong. The thing people don't understand about reality TV is that we film for, like, 17 hours a day. Every single day. You're in a house with people with cameras around you at all times. There's no privacy. You don't get to duck off and do what you want to do. So saying that you fall for people in such a short amount of time is not as unreal as you would think, because you're constantly around someone for days, weeks. Right. Totally engaged. Right. We had no phones. We had no radios. We had no TVs for 2.5 months. Like, that's real. But even at that point, I was like, okay, I didn't say it back right away. I was like, nah, bro, like, nah, like,
my mama gonna see this.
Nah, like, nah, because I thought, I was like, bro, are you? But it's funny because as soon as he said it and like we had wrapped that scene or whatever, I was pissed. I was actually really upset because I was just like, I know who I am. I'm such a lover girl, and I desire love. I want to be loved. I love men. Like, I want, like I love men, and he was a very attractive Black man, and that's what I love. So like I was with it. Like I was like, if this is what it is, like I wasn't opposed to it, but I was just angry because I'm just like, is this for TV? Are you just bullshitting me right now? Like, why would you do that? And then honestly, at the time, I thought that the producers had something to do with it. I'm like, yo, did y'all tell him to say that shit? Like, I had one of those moments. Like, I don't know.
You went Joker, huh?
No,
like,
for real.
Don't say
like,
things like
I swear
freely,
to God, because like I don't know if y'all watch like like Love and Hip Hop and shit. Like you know how they have the scenes where they're like running to the back and they're ripping off their mics and shit. Like I had that moment. Like I was like, get this mic off me. I don't want to fucking talk. Like I need to talk to someone right now. Like what the fuck is going on? Because I didn't sign up for this. Like I did not sign up to get played on TV. Like you're not about to like do this to me. But they were like, no, Trey's like, we're just as surprised. Like we had no idea. So then fast forward, like he was legit about it. And he literally was already like, hey, like I want to come meet your family for Thanksgiving, because we were gonna wrap in like September. So then like November was shortly after. He's like, I want to come meet your family. He was like, I'm willing to move to LA, because he lived in New York. He's like, I'm willing to move to LA. Like there's some things I'm trying to do for like my own entrepreneurial things. Like, that could be a move for me. Like that's realistic. And I'm just like, yeah, alright, cool. So like obviously like I did run with it, because I was just like, there's no way that this guy could be saying these things to me and he doesn't mean it. Like, but unfortunately I was so gullible and whatever. But fast forward, I did think this was my person. I really did. Like I was like, I don't know what the man above was trying to do. Even just like me being in this show to begin with was already like mind blowing.
I think that was Judas.
I don't know what it
was. That was Judas. I don't think that was the Lord.
No, literally, but it was the Lord in the sense of what I learned. And like I literally like, as crazy as the situation was, as crazy as the show was, like I feel like I learned so much about myself. And so much about like my love style, my love language, and what I want and what I tolerate, what I don't tolerate. Like
what is your love language?
So I like words of affirmation, and I definitely do like gifts. I think that like going out of your way to do something for someone means so much to me.
Expensive or thoughtful?
Both. Because thoughtful, like to me, to be honest, like I was in a situation I had came over and they're like, oh, hey, like, are you hungry? Or like, do you want like a snack or something? I was like, yeah, let's go grab something. Oh, well, I had already picked up your favorite. I like Twix ice cream. It's like, oh, I already have Twix ice cream in the freezer for you. I'm like, what? Sold. Like the fact that you knew, like, you think about, hey, Trace likes this. I know that, maybe she's having a hard day. Let me go grab this for her and like have this put up in the house for her when she get here. Like that type of shit. Hands down, like that's my thing right there. Like anything that like, and again, it's not about like the transactional aspect, like, oh, you have to spend money, but it's the thought. Like again, it's a Twix ice cream bar that's like $3 maybe.
But do you really think like women really think that way? Like, do you
No.
guys all,
No.
or you just made different?
I'm 100% made different, but I do think that like a lot of girls don't think about that. Like there are other love languages that I don't necessarily like, to be honest. And I don't know if it's me being like a military background. It's like I'm not a physical touch person, to be honest. Like obviously if you're my man and like we in that space, of course, but like off top, that's not really how you get to my sweet spot, and I know especially for men, like that is a big like love language for most men, because that's just how guys are a little bit. But words of affirmation, like I like to know, like people do a lot of shit, but that doesn't mean that like sometimes they do things, but like I like to hear like, hey, you look beautiful today, or like, hey, I was thinking about you today, hope you're having a good day. Like those type of words, like that does mean a lot, especially when you're going through a tough day or whatever. I definitely like words too. Okay. So yeah, words and gift giving, yeah, it's cool.
Now, with all that being said, what's more important to you, love or money?
Ooh.
Is that even a fair question?
She said
anymore?
A bag for sure, right?
It's not, but it's not even, but it's like to be honest, and I'm not trying to be all cliche and be like, oh, both, but like both though, because I will be honest, there's some people in this world that like they okay with dying alone. I don't want to die alone. I don't want to be like, I love, like that's 100%. Like I want to find my person. I want to be madly in love. I want to do everything and all the things with one person. That's where I'm at. I want love, but don't get me wrong, I have a very expensive lifestyle, and I'm a very, I keep myself very well kept. I am a very, high maintenance person in how I like to be put up. So money is also a very big driver for me as well, because like I like to eat. Let's just start there. Like I like to eat, and I'm not just eating like, don't get me wrong, I love my oatmeal, but like I love my oatmeal, but no, like the money is definitely, it has to be there. And that also just comes from like discipline too, because I also feel like some people that like don't care about money, it's a mindset, it's like that hustler mentality. It's discipline. It's a lot of different aspects that go into like money.
So the location, what's your ideal date?
Out the country.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. Honestly, just something different. And I say different, I know it's a big umbrella, but like I'm just, obviously I'm over the cliche, like dinner and a movie, like no. My biggest thing is like I love experiences. Okay. That's my biggest thing. Like I'm actually a fun, adventurous woman. Like I do go-karts, I do roller coasters, I'll do zip lining, I go swimming, I actually get in the water, like I actually like to do things. And I know a lot of girls don't. There's a lot of different opinions on that. A lot of girls just being cute. I actually like to do things. And so my biggest thing is like, if someone takes me on a date, let's make it an experience. Let's do something. Like, so there's one guy I had talked to, and he took me to Disneyland, and I was like, holy shit. When I tell you, I actually cried to my friend because I had been wanting to go to I've been here for 4 years and I haven't gone to Disneyland. And so I was just kind of like, holy shit, this is amazing. I was so excited, and it was like one of the best dates ever. Granted, me and him don't talk anymore, but it was an amazing date. And like that was something that I will always cherish. I will always remember. And hands down, that's amazing.
Nice. Hey, well, look, there was a ton of questions that I still have for you that I wanted to ask, but we won't have to continue this some other time. Come back, follow up on this.
Oh, for sure. I'll be back.
Ladies and gentlemen, like we always do, we're coming to the conclusion of our show. We thank you for tuning in. And like I always do, I'll open up the microphone to our guests and to our hosts to leave any parting words, any bit of information, some nuggets you want to share with the listeners and the viewers. Today, we're going to start with our guest, Trace. Is there anything you would like to share?
Well, one, thank you again so much for having me. I definitely wish we could chat longer. And I definitely will be back if you have me. But honestly, I'm so blessed and thankful just to be here to this day. There's so much going on in this world right now, and I'm just blessed to be in a situation where I can live my dreams and do what I do every day. You know, obviously follow me on social media. You know, I'm still kind of getting in my entrepreneurial bag. So like in this next year, like hopefully I'll have my swimsuit line out. So keep an eye out for that.
For sure.
I'm definitely still working on my
You
agency.
need some models for that. I'm getting the push-ups a little. Okay.
I'm gonna hit you up. I'm gonna hit you up. I'm definitely working on my brand, Trace the Brand, which is gonna be like the forefront for my agency. It's gonna be definitely like model development, confidence coaching, but it's gonna be open to
Throw your handles out there. You know.
Yeah, no, at Trace Winningham. It's like my
okay.
Instagram, and then you can go to like Trace the Brand, the page from there. I have my website as well, which is the Brand by Trace. So you can kind of go on there, get a little bit of information, kind of see like what the setup is going to be. I'm still kind of working out the logistics of like how I want to present it in like a mass form. So that'll kind of, I'm working on that. So probably in the next few months, we'll probably see more of that on my social media. But definitely, if you're interested in something like that, definitely keep an eye out.
Sure.
And it's for men and women. And then even going from my agency, like I want to start hosting like, you know, monthly brunches where it's just empowerment. Like, let's talk about issues. Let's talk about what's on your mind. And I definitely want to just have a platform where people feel comfortable, no matter what walk of life you come from, to express how they feel. And let's talk and keep it 100, because like I keep it 5,000. So like, yeah. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
That's dope. GQ Nesto, anything you would like to share?
So with that being said, I want to say we're all special one way or another, right? Mm-hmm. So I think we need to start focusing more on cherishing those skill set that the Lord blessed you with, and keep it going. You know, it's a short time of, you know, that we're gonna be in this earth, so make it count.
For sure. And I would say, anyone listening or watching, you look in the mirror, just realize and think to yourself that God made you with love. All right. But I'm your boy Drew. We are Option for a Podcast. We see you guys next time. Peace.